Hi there. We are going to make exercise 1, which is the first assignment in the section titled CAD from Blueprint. So what we're going to learn how to do is take a blueprint like this and turn it into an actual CAD file. And one of the things that is challenging about this is you're not going to be given any instructions. There's also, God knows how many ways you can make this. And I'm going to just show you one way that occurred to me when I was doing this. If I were to make it again, I might make it a slightly different way. But at the end, we're just trying to achieve this part right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So when I analyze this part, what I see is something that looks like a very simple extrude here, right? We've got a sketch that's going to look like this that's been extruded up a little bit to make this part. So as far as our three-dimensional tools that we're going to use, we're just going to basically do one extrude. And so we're going to make a sketch that looks like this. And if you look at this section view here that's cut down the middle, it shows that it's 5 millimeters thick. So we're going to make that 5 millimeters thick when we do the extrude. So let's get started. Now, I already created a document, and I already set, it's very important that you go in and set your workspace units to millimeters. Okay, so make sure you do that. And then going back here, to make it look like this, doesn't it look like it's extruded up from the top plane? Well, that means that I want to make my sketch on the top plane. So let's go ahead and do that. And so I'm going to right click on the top plane, and I'm going to have a new sketch. And then I'm going to hit the N key to look perpendicular into the plane. And then I hit the P key to get rid of all the planes so I don't have to look at them. Now, again, let's analyze this a little bit. It kind of looks to me like a circle with a channel cut into it, right? And then from here to here looks like a half circle. So I think what I'm going to do to start is I'm going to create one circle centered on the origin that is 80 millimeters in diameter. And then another concentric circle. Now you notice it says radius 16. That means the diameter is double that, which is 32. So an 80 and a 32. So let's start there. I'm going to get my center point circle tool. I'm going to hover over the origin, click out and drag, and type 80. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but only come out 32 this time. And then I'm going to drag my dimensions up out of the way. Now, if you notice in the drawing, you see what look like construction lines. But because you guys learned how to make drawings already, you recognize that that's actually not necessarily what that is. Do we need those? Well, I do think they would be helpful, because if you notice these holes, these other holes are located kind of along those lines. So let's go ahead and create those just so we can have them. And I'm going to click the line tool and the construction tool. I'm going to go straight up from the origin, come straight back down and create my first one. And now I'm going to do it again. This I'm going to use my shortcuts. I'm going to hit L for line and Q for construction. I'm going to hover over the origin, come out a bit, click, come right back through the origin, and click. Okay, so now what it looks to me like is there is a line that goes from the intersection of the inner circle, and there's horizontal out to that edge. So I'm going to get the line tool. I'm going to hover over where both of them turn yellow, so I know I'm at that intersection. I'm going to go out horizontal till the outer circle turns yellow, and I'm going to click. And I'm going to do it again. Now, I'm going to just for fun, instead of doing it again, I'm going to use some of the fun tools that we know. I'm going to use the mirror feature, select this line, select that, and now I've made the other one. Do you have to do it that way? No, but I wanted to, so I did. Now, we need to get rid of the line that goes from here to here and the little segment that goes from here to here. That's what the trim tool is for. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to get rid of these two segments and these two segments. And now I've got that basic, almost Pac-Man shape. What else do we need? We need 3 holes that, of course, you notice are located with their centers right on those those construction lines that we made. So I'm going to get the hole tool. Again, center point circle, not hole tool. Be careful there. Circle tool. Click, drag, make sure I'm highlighted on the yellow, click and drag, and click and drag. Okay, now, if you look right here, it says 3 holes, 10 diameter drilled through. Okay, so I'm going to make them all 10 millimeters in diameter, but I'm going to do it the fun way, which is I'm going to click, make that one 10, and because one of the things that I really like is to have the cleanest possible drawing with the least number of dimensions. And so the way to do that would be now to use the equals constraint and click on this one and then that one and this one and then that one. So now they're all 10 by only doing 1 dimension. But you notice they're still blue. Why? Well, because we got to say where their center is located, in these cases vertically, and in this case horizontally. And if you notice, it's 28 from this line in both directions for these 2 holes, and 28 to the left of this line on this one. Okay, so I'm going to get the dimension tool. I'm going to make this point and this line 28. Now, again, could I do that a second time? Sure, but I could also use the symmetric constraint, and I could make this my symmetric line, and then click that center, and it locks them in. And I was able to eliminate a dimension that way. And by the way, as you do these exercises, they give you more dimensions than you need, right? You notice they give us the hole diameter over here for this hole as 10. We don't need that. We already defined it over here. So don't think you have to make these things look exactly the same. You do not. These are drawings, and we're making cat over here. Now this one, there's no real way for me to do. No, that's not true. I could have done a circular pattern and eliminated one of the circles, I guess. I mean, there's so many ways you could do this. I'm just going to make a dimension of 28 down here. And there we go. We're fully black. I'm going to accept the sketch, right click, and go for that isometric view. Now, if you remember, the thickness is 5 millimeters. So I'm going to extrude this by clicking there, change this to 5, accept it, and we are done. So again, is this the only way to make it? No. Did it work? Sure. So, and if you notice, they go ahead and they color theirs in. That's just for clarity. You don't have to do that. This is fine. If you like coloring and you want to color it, have a ball, but you don't need to. All right, that's it for this one, and I'll see you on the next one.